tonight what we're going to talk about. But before we go on to the topic then, I just want to bring in me engineer and co-host, DJ Little, aka the Moses. I will make like tell una adu, and then I will carry Dr. Achmed and then go back to DJ Little.
Okay. Good evening, me famble them, me people them, una kushe, una kabo, una kushe, una kabo, me famble them, me people them, una welcome. Today, don't be the 3rd of May. Welcome to a new month. As una all know, the start of the month, at the time where we introduce we health package. And obviously the health package, they come off from the doctor to you, consolidates. So, and we get no other representative from doctor to you consolidates than we own friend and we own brother and Sierra Leonean ambassador, Dr. Achmed Kamara. So we hope say, just like all the topics that we you don't plan for we when I go join and engage with we, because it's really going to be informative. If you get an extra phone, get that phone there on a record, put them on audio, let you record today's session, because you're going to learn so much. Alternatively, if not the one device you get, stay with we and watch the program fully and share, please. Welcome.
Thank you, DJ Little. I will bring now we doctor to you, Dr. Achmed Kamara, where now we own doctor to you, where they can actually break down them 4 important topics here, what we can talk about tonight. But before we go into the topic, I will allow Dr. Achmed for introducing himself, and then I will go back to DJ Little. Then before I bring Dr. Achmed now for actually can talk about the topics then one after the other. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DJ Little. Great pleasure to be here again today. Yeah, so as I know, mina a GP na England, so mina an NHS GP. Then I also practice privately through Doctor to You, when an online consultation platform. So you will book appointments and we will see you through video consultations. But look, today not so about any sort of marketing. This is about sharing and serving the public with key medical information. Then, the overall topic, yes, not cardiovascular disease, and under that topic, there you get 2 important things: and stroke and heart attacks. But where DJ Ish passed me the baton, I will go into a little bit of depth on that topic and there again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Achmed. I will go back to DJ Little, aka the Moses. DJ Little, sir.
Yeah, hold on.
I know you get something, you get an update, so you just want to give the people then.
Yeah, because I like you, because you always they start me up like that. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say to fumble them. Achmed, I don't know whether you notice Ish. It's very, very windy out here right now. And it's like, I don't know what happened. The weather just took a very, very downhill turn. Then been saying it go cold and everything. But I just want to say, wow, it really, really good at the other side. But I just want to say, with the experience low bandwidth, so on a bear with we, it's nothing to do with internet. It's just the way it is, the condition of the weather, they affect the whole program. But the good news is, the program is still coming out live to you guys, and the benefit, we also record the program through the Zoom. So alternatively, we still deliver the program. We're also live on YouTube as well, now with Diaspora Voices SL. So if you get access to YouTube and they're on Facebook, or your family, then get them for watch, especially now areas like Sierra Leone. So please, patient with me. So that's hopefully the breeze. I can hear the pam 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 all thing, But Dr. Achmed, obviously meal segments in this I'm quite want to catch you feeling as we can usually get we monthly coronavirus updates. Okay, and I want to bring 2 things to you today. The first thing is about the roadmap to recovery and easing of all restrictions. And then the second one, Wale, you touch base on is also on what you call it, the potential likelihood of vaccine mixing where they take place. And this is all to do with waiting they happen at the world. And one of the city or the country were responsible for engineering and its vaccines and all of that serum, the vaccine serums, when at India, they go through a great adverse, terrible time right now where it's like, where they can say if China or America sneeze, the world they catch cold. But if India self scratch their head, that means the rest of the world, they're lost. You understand? Eh? So this, now then areas that they are really want to touch on. So first of all, before we go on the roadmap to recovery, let me talk on waiting prevalence right now. When at India, you know, as a doctor, first of all, before you come to the humanity side, how you they feel seeing patients. Let's treat these people as your patients, seeing you patients and they fall out and they die like that. And would the likelihood that could this have been prevented and something could have been done better? This is a country where, yes, it got two disparities, the haves and the very, very have-nots, as well as the middle ground is very, very small, you understand, in terms of standard of living. But they have wealth of knowledge in medics, in science, in technology. You know, like when you say, why make it, they didn't see this coming, they were blindsided. What thing are you take on this briefly, and how likelihood that the rest of the world, like the UK, for example, because of the effect of India, might have to jump into vaccine mixing?
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, the situation at India, very, very sad. You know, the very topic where they can't talk about cardiovascular disease, they kill about 17 million people a year. And I read today say India alone don't get over 17 million cases confirmed of coronavirus. And this now a place where they not get widespread testing like how they get, and so that's not the UK. So whatever value, whatever number figure you get, you know, say now a gross underestimate. Many more people that don't get COVID in India. Many more people that don't die of COVID were unaccounted for. It's very sad. I mean, what I can read about the situation in India, it really reminds me of what they go on in West Africa during the Ebola crisis. You know, you feel so helpless. You know, the disease is spread around without control. But India, you know, with the hopes that then we will turn the tide around. Like how you say in our country where gets such a huge disparity of, you know, the standard of living. On the one hand, also, there's now such a bed of knowledge of scientific infrastructure for letting they develop a lot of the vaccine and in factories and shows, say, then gets a lot for contributes from a medical scientific point of view. Well, I mean, we can all speculate, but one of the things that people say, even some of the Indian doctors don't come up with, is that the fact say for stop the mixing of people and, you know, the mass gathering of people and they still they go on and get an election where still they go on and, you know, the prime minister we wanted the election go through people and still they go votes. So all then they make them very difficult. And you get a lot of people where they come out of the villages, them for can't walk now the cities, them. And unfortunately, some of them, if they not go walk, you know, and this is not the thing with poverty, if they not go walk, they're not able to get anything there and so much for their family then. So then just you know, get for go. But we hope say then go try for you know, put practical measures them in place and stop their mass gatherings there. So you can always, when you look back, well, why India not see? You can come back to England. Well, why England not come down harsh with the lockdown measures and the, you know, the social distancing measures them as earlier as China? I mean, this now points them for debates, but we all know say that measures that they work, especially where the numbers are so high. So we hope say then we will implement that. But it's very, very sad. It's very sad. And with globalization, the thing is, we don't just see that so now they watch India. With globalization, waiting they go on around the world, we therefore be very aware, we therefore be very connected, we therefore be very sympathetic and empathetic, because any strain will happen anywhere around the world, any corner of the world can easily, very quickly come now so as well, now England also.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, I mean, why don't you continue into the way you talk about the strain, the effects when they happen India will go affect it, you know, because that's why I want to let you lead with, so because of the likelihood now, the sound bites when they come out from the government to say there's a possibility that we might have vaccine shortage. So as a result of that, there's a likelihood of mixing vaccines and waiting at the implications. And has there been enough done in terms of studies, vetting, what are the risk factors? Is this safe for people? So, because if I have a Pfizer and now I'm going to be taking an AstraZeneca or vice versa, or somebody's going to introduce me to the Moderna, you know, is this safe? Briefly.
Very important question, and way the scientific community they can ask right now. There are so many studies and they go on at the moment for check, you know, the safety of mixing of vaccines. As early as January, we get some evidence that we should say, you know, in extreme circumstances, you can mix the vaccine then. But studies, you know, we don't get enough robust studies then, but we don't get some now, then they're in the pipeline. And this is not a very, you know, fast rolling picture. So, you know, you get interim data analysis. But again, you know, just like how when vaccine they also be first come, we not so like when we don't develop the other historical vaccines, then where we get 5 years, 10 years worth of data for look back and say, okay, this vaccine is so absolutely safe. We can only go with the data the way they come up, but we're not able, you know, or the scientists themselves not be able to tell you, say, well, how safe will it be in a year's time? Whose kind of complication then where people can go get in a year or two's time? And you only go know when, you know, when it comes to markets, when they begin to sort of vaccinate people and widely, and some side effects they can be so rare. The studies they're not able to pick them up until you don't mass vaccinate a lot of people, and then maybe one or two you know, people and go get some side effects that will not be sure of that the studies then. I mean, a real potential we don't see waiting they go on to Europe, right? With the where the Europeans and get worried about the vaccine, they're not going to get enough vaccine them, even though now some of them countries they manufacture them. Okay, so UK gets this link with India. So if this they go now to India, that's a big problem as well. You know, so you get the European issue, get the India, you know, the difficulties in India, you know, so this now a concern. So where you see Germany, where you see England, they send oxygen and, you know, na India. Yes, now from a humanitarian point of view, but it's very important for STEM waiting to go na India for the benefits of the whole world.
Thank you very much for that response, Dr. Achmed. The second question to you, before we go over to the main topic of tonight's program, would be this road to recovery. Now, obviously, the UK is doing well. We're now hitting nearly 40 million plus in terms of receiving first vaccine and coming up to almost 20 of those who have had both sets of vaccine. And the government don't lay out their roadmap to recovery many weeks ago. And so there's a lot of pressure that we do so well. Just cut the tape. Let's go. Open the gates, the floodgates. Let's go. You know what I mean? Drop the mask. Use the scissors. Cut off the mask. You know what I mean? Take the hand sanitizer. Put her inside the bin and flush it all up. Go out there and dance and Jankoliko all over the place and so on and so forth. And this is what the general public wants. But you have JVT, I love him, Jonathan Van Tam, you understand, a sensible man, and Professor Chris Whitty and all of these people, and the Sage and all of these people are saying, steady on, steady on, steady on. But there's a lot of pressure. Do you think the UK, as a result of the success delivery of the vaccine, they almost become a victim of their success. And as a result of that, the public just want to let them open the floodgates, let them get on with things. Normal life can kick in. They want to go to holidays and all of that. Do you think it's a sensible thing for we do right now, or let the government do right now? Or shall we just go slow and steady, does it better?
You know, I mean, Uda no one go back to normal. You know, we all want to go back to normal, but the normal we'll get for go back to get for be a different normal. You know, it get for be a normality where we get for they do things in such a way where this virus no go you know get a significant rise in the number of people that become affected and sadly maybe die from them again. You know, no one gets that third wave or fourth wave down the line. So, you know, it just right for low go a little bit slowly. Now, a difficult balance. I mean, now difficult balance because you get a lot of people and we don't become so socially isolated, right? You get some people and their mental health and mental health don't become so significantly impacted. Some people and they don't put on so much weight, right? Because that waka with them they do, you know, just there and you know, not so for even go oppositely exercise, but that you know, normal up and down walking with them they do back and forth. So shops and different places don't cut down. So in a lot of other ways, you get other health problems and now where they mount up, where they rise up as a result of the measures that they don't take. But look, nobody don't want to go back to a time where they get 1,000 deaths a day from, you know, COVID, you know, 10,000 plus cases a day. We don't want to go back to that at all. So I think it just like the marathon runner, it run almost done in 26 miles. You know, it not reach the line, it's raising hand, turn, begin they celebrate, then incompetent can't pass them. We're almost there. We're doing so well. We just get for continue.
I'm glad you want to talk landing like me and Ishmael. They can all won't go far. Then he forgets last 20 meters. Then he still be like, I can't pass Safu. Then why we now in the vex? Then like I said, when you coach me in the vex. Sorry. Yeah. I like that. So we just have to be very careful. And if we do I'm fine, then hopefully when there is the measures, then we don't go back to any stringent restrictions then. So, you know, we'll get the dates. Well, they look forward to the 17th of May and hopefully, you know, the 21st of June, where if all goes well, you know, we will begin we party them back. We will begin, you know, we gatherings them back in a safe way. But I think the hand sanitizers and then go get for day. And we will get for be careful, you know, when we day inside close contact situation. And we know for say the rate of transmission of coronavirus, of COVID-19 indoors is over 400 times greater than outdoors. So there's a science behind waiting than they do. And it don't mean say, wait, things are not go down. Yes, everybody can just relax. We still get for be very, very careful. Let we look after ourselves and look after, you know, all man where they around we loved ones. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Achmed, for that updates there on coronavirus. And we found them, we could dwell in on this every month, but obviously COVID not a go away. It's going to be with us. And fortunately, we get Dr. Achmed where they with we every month, first Monday of the month. So anything you want to talk about, any issue you want to talk about, when I use the opportunity today, send text, send message to me or DJ Ish, or if you get Dr. Achmed number, reach out to Doctors to You page, put your question there and ask, seek consultation, you know. But our main topic tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is about cardiovascular diseases. As you know, DJ Ish outlined 4 of the key cardiovascular diseases them where we hope for can squeeze in the next 45 minutes. Hopefully, we will be able to do it justice. And me, now me the man with the ranting. DJ Ish is more succinct, so he will go straight to the questions, and then Dr. Achmed will make them as quick and as understandable for una all. But please share. Cardiovascular disease now one of the most biggest non-communicable disease the way they kill the Afro-Caribbean community, especially we within the West African nations them, because of we palate, we diet, we way of life, the way we do things, the way we present research. So there's a lot of information to gain and knowledge to seek here. Hopefully, you and I will be able to take something on board and learn. So for now, I'll hand you over to DJ Ish and Dr. Achmed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, DJ Little. Thank you very much for that update today. We go straight to the main topic then. Right. Dr. Achmed, because there's 4 important topics that we outlined tonight. For the normal man, the common man, I just want to let you break them down for we. Cardiovascular disease and heart attack. How then, not to the same thing we talk about now?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. So if you look at the umbrella term, cardiovascular disease. So cardio means the heart, vascular means the blood vessels. So diseases of the heart and the blood vessels we call cardiovascular disease. So that are like the umbrella term. Then under that umbrella, then now we get important cardiovascular diseases. We're not able to talk about all, but we will talk about the key ones then today. One, heart attack, and then the other one are stroke. And these 2 illnesses are really, really important. We know, for example, say, that I mentioned earlier, say around the world, at least, and this is probably an underestimate, at least 17 million people die every single year from cardiovascular diseases. In England alone, at least 27% of all the deaths every single year in England now because of cardiovascular related disease. So it's so important for let we get small understanding about this, but the main thing is now let we know what we can do for reduce the risk for develop any of them cardiovascular diseases and allow suffer untimely death, because we all get forgo at some points, but let it not be an untimely death. Allow look after ourselves and the things where these are things that we get control over, and we'll come on to them in a second. We get control over them things, and then kind of prescription, and then are the best prescription, not so that medication where you get for go take na pharmacy, and then you get for member for take or you get for go pay for prescription, or sometimes some people in there, so I know saying they watch from parts of the world where for even get prescription or go buy medication is not easy. But a lot of the things that you can do for reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease are things that where you get control over. And we'll come on to them in a second. But stroke, heart attack, now the big one. And then you get other illnesses that now, when we can lead towards then 2 things then such as high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, etc.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Dr. Achmed, I still want only on the cardiovascular topic, right? Because I know under that topic we get 2 important blood cells them were very, very important for circulate the blood into the body, when are the red blood cell and then the white blood cell. So ideally the red blood cell is very important where they carry oxygen. So what about in the sense that if the white blood cell where they fight the infection can't fight the infection, it gets any effect to the whole system?
Yeah, I mean, they are very complex systems. So all them cells and now with bone marrow, they make all them cells and and you can get some condition them. In fact, forget infection, but you can get some condition them where the bone marrow they just go out of control, right? They begin to make abnormal cells them, and if that happens, it affects your red blood cells. It can either make you get too much red blood cells or too little. If you get too much red blood cells, they make your blood very thick, and it can make it very easy for let you get a clot within your blood vessels. And some people they call polycythemia. So people that will get a lot of red blood cells, and then get very high risk for develop heart attacks and strokes. Or you can get very, very little red blood cells. You know, anemia. People who get sickle cell, thalassemia. In those instances, then you're not able to carry sufficient oxygen around your body. Or in the case of sickle cell, not only you're not able to carry enough oxygen, but you can form and clot them because your cells they're so abnormally shaped. So for that reason there as well, you get a high risk of developing strokes and heart attacks and blood clots in other parts of your body. So in fact, now this country also picking them we get sickle cell. Some of them, the one that we get that severe SS, HBSS, they can need regular MRI scans of their brain, even if they don't get symptoms. And because beginner will tell you at a young age when they're young, what think can happen, so they can need to get an MRI for check if they get a stroke. So let's say you get if you don't get enough white blood cells, yes, that will put you at risk of getting an infection. But also, if you get too much white blood cells because your bone marrow know they work well, such as some instances of leukemia, lymphoma, that can also put you at risk of infection because the abnormal white cells them. So you get them a lot, but they not of the good quality one, and we're able to fight infection. And when you get then abnormalities there, so they only produce so many different chemicals, and we can affect your red blood cells, and what we don't talk about, or can affect your platelets. Your platelets now, you clotting, your clotting cell, your main clotting cell now, your blood. Again, if you get too much platelets, you're at risk of forming blood clots in your blood vessels. If you get too little platelets, you're at risk of bleeding. So 80% of strokes now because of blood clots, we get about 15-20% of strokes when not because of a bleed. So the body's so complex, and a lot of them things they interact with each other. So one thing will happen one side or with one part of the system where they get an impact on another part of the system.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that information. Right. That brings me to the one big question. What's in a heart attack? And then heart attack and then cardiac arrest. Now the same thing?
That's a very good question. So heart attack. So in the name alone, attack, it means that something can happen quite suddenly. Not always, right? But most of the time, quite suddenly. And this heart attack now essentially where the circulation, so the blood flow to the heart itself. So the heart responsible for sending blood all over the body. But you also get some arteries then, what they call coronary arteries, where they send blood back to the heart in your muscle. Because if that muscle, the way they pump all over the body, if INSEF not able to get enough blood, enough oxygenated blood, enough nutrients, no problem. So it gets then coronary arteries also where they send blood to the heart. Now, if any of them coronary arteries, they also become blocked, then you don't cut off the circulation to an area of the heart, right? You get two main ones, left, right, and then the left, break down into different one, then circumflex, etc. Well, just remember, you get what they call coronary arteries. If they become blocked, then you don't cut off the blood flow to an area of the heart, and every single second, where that part of the heart, not they receive blood, is vitally important. Now this in medicine, we say, what is the dot or needle time? So from the moment where somebody can get symptoms of a heart attack, so chest pain, severe chest pain, how quickly can you get them to the hospital so that then we're able to do the test, confirming a heart attack, and then go try for unblock in coronary arteries then. So waste time, not a, you don't need for, we don't need anything we go cause any waste time and then kind of thing. So you can find out, say, even in this part of the world, where we get the facilities for rapidly unblock blocked arteries then. But because we not can understand waiting at the symptoms then, or we can delay with a one thing, I'll go now, or this year, so but at 2 o'clock in the morning now, or 1 o'clock, or maybe na indigestion, or then, you get so many things that way they confuse the clinical picture. They make people at times not can present on time. And by the time when you present too late, unfortunately, the heart muscle cannot die, you're not able to recover them, even if they're unblocked and that's ended. But for come back to your question, and I for tell me for stop if I did talk plenty, because I know we'll not get much time today. For come back to your question, what is a heart attack? A heart attack, they happen where you get a sudden blockage of the blood flow to the heart itself through one of the coronary arteries then.
Thank you, Dr. Achmed. Right, I know say the hearts are made of 4 important chambers then, 4 important valves. So in those 4 important valves, if one of them faulty, if one of them gets problem, how effective the other 3 they functions?
Yeah, so you mentioned 2 things there, Anna. So the valves and the chambers then. So I mean, not a system, right? And every part of the system, therefore, they work well. Otherwise, no problem. If one part them not they work fine, it'll lead to consequences. Then the valves and the chambers. So the chambers then they pump for allow the blood for flow through the heart. The valves then they allow the one-way flow of the blood. Imagine if you pump this blood, but the blood they go 50% they go behind, 50% they go before, a very inefficient. So within the valves they do, they try for limit how much of that blood they go backwards. So if you get a problem with the valve, any of the valves in the heart, either they can be so stiff that blood not able to flow forward properly, so no problem, or they can be so damaged, they're so loose that when you pump, the blood just they go back behind, they go before. So either way, it results in problem. And with the actual chambers, then the same thing. If the chambers are not they pump fine, they lead to a problem. And the most important one, I mean, they're all important, but the most important chamber of the heart, now your left ventricle. So you left, this is not a bit of the heart where it pump, where they fill with heartbeat, and in they send blood all around with body. You get problems with your heart valves or chambers, them it lead to inefficient pump of the heart. Then what's in they happen? The blood they begin for backup. You begin for get swelling now your legs, or sometimes when you go lay down for sleep now net. As soon as you lay down flat some more, the blood they begin for settle now your lungs. You feel like you want to suffocate. We call this heart failure, where fluid you see now your leg as fluid, or at times you can begin to cough where you lay down for go sleep now net. So very, 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 very important. I mean, any system where is in one part of the system not they work fine, a problem.
Thank you very much, Dr. Achmed. All right. The next question I get: how quick somebody they recover from a heart attack?
A very, very good question. And how quick anybody recover from a heart attack? It really depends on how healthy they were. Well, it depends on a combination of factors. Number one, how healthy they were before the heart attack. Okay, number one. Then number two, how major a heart attack it was. So, like I mentioned earlier, you get different coronary arteries. Then, if the heart attack, if the blockage happened at a very small branch of one of the coronary arteries, then it will only affect a very small part of the heart. So in that case, the recovery will be a lot quicker. But if the blockage happened at a major junction, all right? Imagine like where M25 can block, it affect so many roads them around the country. In the same way, if you get a major coronary artery block, then it can cause almost complete death of maybe 50% of the function of the heart. And instantly you get a heart failure. So that kind of recovery can take very, very long. And then the other thing also, it depends also on the other health problems that we get. So be somebody will be perfectly fit and healthy before the heart attack, or you get any other medical problems. Then what's be your cardiovascular fitness, right? So somebody maybe they take regular exercise before the heart attack. You be able to run for bus, you'll be able to do that without get so out of breath. Possibly be able to climb a flight or two of stairs right? Or always now lift somewhere. If lift's not there, you never go up one flight of stairs. So all them things and they get an impact on how quickly you will recover from a heart attack. But in general, if somebody don't get a heart attack, as a minimum, we can say, look, rest for at least 6 weeks as a minimum, even if you're not the most fittest person. And the DVLA driving, with the driving and vehicle agency in the UK gets strict guidelines on how long you take before you begin drive again after a heart attack, or same with after a stroke. But the actual length of time, not a straightforward answer. It depends on them factors and they were mentioned earlier.
Thank you, Dr. Achmed. I go bring Cam DJ Little. I know since Seth Guan gets 1 or 2 questions when Seth Guan contribute towards the show. Over to you, DJ Little.
Hello, me fumble them, me people them on a kushe. When I see the thing this way, they go lay complaint to Dr. Achmed for, I the lay DJ Ishin complain live on air. I've always said, you want to bring me on, I'm the engineer, I'm behind the scene, I'm doing a lot of work behind the scene. So 2 questions ago, when you ask Dr. Achmed, say, after them 2 questions here, I the bring on the engineer. That prepares me. Don't just finish with Dr. Achmed and then say, don't do that.
You got to pay attention. Pay attention.
I am paying attention to promoting the show and making sure people are interacting. But thank you. To be honest with you, I'm following up, but we've gone so far. The only thing where I think, I don't know whether Dr. Achmed don't cover, is to ask about the risk factors of the coronary artery disease. I don't know whether you don't cover that there already.
No,
and
no.
That's in relation to Usa you did now from the topic that we follow on. So if you can just tell us about the risk factors then, please.
Yeah, very, very important. So look, we'll talk about coronary artery disease. The risk factors then are the same, now pretty much very similar to the risk factors of stroke. So we'll cover it all together. And making where I can talk to my patients, I can break them down into things way they not get control over. I say non-modifiable factors. So this, for example, well, 3-way they also rights now, we now man them, and we get a much higher risk of cardiovascular disease, of heart attacks than women. And we're not able to control that, right? We just get to accept that, and then we try for control the things that will be controlled. With genetics, you can find out some family then gets a strong history. Find out, say maybe your daddy don't get a heart attack, your daddy in brother, or your daddy, your grandpa gets heart attack, or granny get heart attack. So your genetics, you're not able to control that. You're a man, you get certain genetics. Then and some family then they also then get what's it called, familial hypercholesterolemia. So some family then no matter what you think, it's the most healthy food, but then cholesterol level just so high, and that are because of genetics. So you just get to be aware of that within now you inherited risk factors then. But now let's talk about the risk factors that we're able to do something about. Because I think are the most important one then. What are the modifiable risk factors? So I'm not going to go through every single list, but I'll talk about the key ones then. Number 1, smoking. We don't say cigarette. Cigarettes gets a lot of things that way they do, but one of the key risk factors of cardiovascular disease. Smoking, they lead to blockage of arteries. They cause, things that we call atheroma, where they clog up your arteries. And imagine, where with a was we pan in a hose. That oil where they settle inside the pipe, at times it can settle. So the pipe block. That's we get for put chemical from block them. Unfortunately, we're able for flush we arteries them as then they block up now with body. But smoking, what you can do is stop for smoke. Easier said than done, not easy. But if you smoke, really, I can tell the patient then first of all, look, try for reduce them and try for get an incentive, because for say stop no more, it can be difficult. But look, what do you look forward to in the future? You get picking them, you go out attend then graduation, you get girl picking, you go out attend in wedding one day, or you get something where you look forward to in the future, where you go and do. If you get a strong reason why you want to do something, then you go always able for go ahead and do that thing, no matter waiting at the obstacles. Then okay, smoking, then you wait. Okay, so we get what we call health BMI. You know, also the ordinary weight number. So man they now 90 kilogram, but a very tall. So for your height, in weight, okay. So man, another person go there, now same 90 kilogram, but a very short. So for your height, is very big. So we get something called BMI. And this is not the calculators and they online, you can work out your BMI if you get a scale and you know your height. And any BMI that's really over 25, between 25 and 30 are overweight. If you're over 30, then are obese. And then if you're over 35, we're saying a morbid obese. This is not the level of obesity we'll know for say really, really, really bad for your health. So you want to reduce your BMI as much as possible, so as close to the healthy BMI as possible. This we all not get for able to look the same, right? But any amount where you're able to lose for yourself, 5% of your body weight, whoever you start will make a big difference to you. Because remember, we all get, genetic factors then. So you get your diet as well. So your diets, they play a big role. The amount of fat we will get in with diets. Now, fat, we all need a little bit of fat. Yeah, we get 3 key food groups of food where we need now we diet. You need carbohydrates, you need protein, you need fat. But when you get too much fat in the diet, that can lead to problems. They increase your cholesterol level, where it will clog up your blood vessels and lead to an increased risk of heart attacks and strokes. So you want to try for use more unsaturated fat and use less of what they call saturated fat. So the unsaturated one, and I think things and where we can and they talk about Mediterranean diet. So olive oil and things like that, but also coconut oil and satin peanut oil can be a little bit better. But the unsaturated one, then fats they're waking up and then cow food them, then fats they're waking up and then meat them. So do your very best. Forget for eat lean meat. Try for cut the fat out as much as possible. When they eat your chicken, we all don't grow up for they eat the chicken with the skin. That skin there, it gets a lot of fat inside. Try for eating chicken without the skin. It will make a big difference. Not for enough for eating anything in there. And if you get a choice, now I'm not saying myself not too very perfect on this, but if you get a choice between the thigh and the chicken breast, go for the chicken breast because it gets less fat. And palm oil. This palm oil is the way we like. Myself they eat them, but again we get for just do things in moderation. Palm oil are a big source of saturated fat. So in terms of fat, you want to reduce your overall fat intake. But if you get for eating it, try for stick more to the unsaturated fat. And then if you get for use your palm oil, because at times some food and they, it not will taste the same for you if you don't put palm oil, just do it in moderation. Just take it easy. So then 4 things there are the biggest sort of modifiable risk factors: smoking, weight, your diet. Make sure you eat a healthy, balanced diet. And then your cholesterol, which you can control based on whether you eat the amount of fat we eat and whether or not saturated or unsaturated fat.
Thank you, Dr. Achmed. Yeah, DJ Little, you get any more questions for
I still want to be the laugh. Wait till you want to be the laugh.
Dr. Achmed, I'm glad when you asked the question. So I got thank you not to me ask the question. Thank you. Shall I tell you why we laugh?
Yes.
When you touch on the fact that say a little bit of fat is needed, my eyes went straight onto that young man there because I know that he has none. I could share the text with you and the general public because there's one thing about trying to be fit and healthy, but you touch on it. I'm not a medical doctor, but I have to publicly name and shame my brother. He's an amazing guy and I love him. But sometimes a bit of bad food is good for your health. Yes or no? That's all. Because this man, even to have the bad food consumption, he fears the life. And I'm thinking, you know, you cannot get through your day-to-day or your entire life not having more father sometimes they will go McDonald's with him picking them instead they munch the McDonald's. So that's what we are laughing about.
Yeah. So I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think then the way to want to make sure say the so-called quote unquote bad food na an exception, yeah, na on exceptional occasion. Let it not be the routine. But yeah, I mean, you know, I should say it gets some fat because you know, if you not purposely look for food that we get beaucoup fat, but most food that get a little bit of fat in them anyway. So I should say they get enough. Enough from
he gets. I just wind them up because like every time this man is a healthy guru, his palate where he go share, put on a status or share with me. Like literally, come on, man. Can you just leave me alone? How long has it taken you to prepare those portions? And he cooks so well because he's a big cook, so he really. But anyway, Ish, you're doing a great job, to be very honest.
Role model is this is your role model.
I think I'm just beefing you because to use the deliberate pun. I'm beefing you because I don't eat well. So ladies and gentlemen out there on our social media, Ish, my brother, eats well. That's the reason why I did bad time publicly.
Thank you. People,
let's move on. Ish, you asked me if I've got one more question.
Okay,
I just wanted to ask Dr. Achmed one question. Again, it's down to cholesterol. And I don't know whether you've touched on this. You understand? Because I like to use myself as an example, as we always do, Ish and I. You understand? Back in 2016, I had my first borderline diagnosis of my HbA1c was borderline. And complacent, didn't do much about it. Went back the second time.
So HbA1c for relation to diabetes, right?
Diabetes, so yes. You understand? But my cholesterol was also high, they said. You understand? So as a result of that, I had to make some modification. I don't act the first time. It was only after the second time. And how cholesterol, people with cholesterol, because sometimes they associate people with high cholesterol as fat people, big people, you know what I mean? Large bone density. But when you meet a small man like myself, in terms of feature or small body mass index, you're thinking, there's no way I'm going to have a high cholesterol. Can you make the comparison, please, and make we understand, the public understand? It don't mean say you get for be big, for you get high cholesterol.
No, I think that you touch on a very, very important point. I can sometimes get patients and when they look at me in shock, but I eat boku salad. I know they eat fatty food. I exercise. I slim. Why my cholesterol so high? And me reply can always be, whatever your level of cholesterol now, if you not be the eat that salad day, if you not be the exercise, if you not be slim, sometimes if for day even much higher than that, right? So you don't need for be big for let you get high cholesterol, and vice versa. You can get some people in the way then get high BMI, so excess body weight, but then cholesterol, very, very low. So it's all based on how your body they metabolize your cholesterol, which is based on your genetics, right? So if you cholesterol high, where they do all them good things, then it just means that you get a certain genetic predisposition for get a high cholesterol. So you just have to be extra careful. Me for say well, if I did eat salad, I did eat healthy food, I did exercise, the cholesterol high, I might as well just stop. Because when you stop, if your cholesterol, normal cholesterol for the one that we don't know, anything less than 5. If you don't get a heart attack or stroke or diabetes, you want aim for your cholesterol there below 4. Now, so if your cholesterol is 6, where they do all them good things, then if you not be they do them, you go back, you relax, and say you go up to 9. Now at that level, it's just recipe for disaster. You can say you're just a walking time bomb if you left them to that level there. So whatever the level, whatever you do, just implement the measures them again. At times, sometimes you just need for tweak certain things them. Some people and then they eat bad food. And they eat bad food, but then they put on weight. and then they can be give them false sense of security. Say, well, I'm slim, therefore I'm okay. You know, so watch what you eat as well, and make the modifications. I can always say to people, not go begin follow a diet where you eat the food, they enjoy the food, right? Because that diet say they able to maintain, they able to keep them up. The best diet, now that diet where you tongue don't use, but they do them in a much healthy way. If you're able to do them, if you're able, you're still able to eat your cassava leaf, but where they are, you go cook them up. Or sometimes you go reduce how many times a week you eat them, or maybe how many times a month you eat them, and balance some other things. And it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's simple. We all know what we need for the, but once you make them a habit, and if you then are host with your family, you encourage other people that are host for make them, a habit as well. And you make sure, say, sometimes when you go party, you make sure, say, you don't eat your healthy food before you go, so that you're not going to be so hungry where you did it, or begin eat, you don't get control over waiting they cook and give you a party. So these are the little things. Before you eat, drink boku water, so that if you take 1 bite, 2 bites of anything way too unhealthy, you will feel satisfied. I don't know if I addressed the point well enough for you.
Yes, thank you. You did. To be honest with you, Dr. Achmed. What I want to do, I just want to go to 1 or 2 comments them, if that's okay. You want to go to some comments them, Dr. Achmed?
Fantastic. Yeah, good.
Okay. So once again, thank you. It's been very, very engaging. And Auntie Susan Banya, first of all, said, thank you for making this so simple for us to understand. He also added, say, I meant unpaid careers, like families, neighbors, provided practical help. And Abubakar Bangura touched on BMI, very serious health indicator. Betty B says, thanks, Dr. Achmed, for the tips on diets. We really need to watch what we eat, and as it plays a very big role. Auntie Susan continued for say, do you have any advice for the paid careers for their loved ones who look after people after cardiac arrest, stroke, or other debilitating conditions? That's Auntie Susan in question. And again,
say that again. Say the question again, please.
So the question is, do you have any advice for the paid carers? Sorry, for the paid carers. I said carers who of their loved ones who look after people after cardiac arrest, stroke, or other debilitating conditions. And then he says, thanks for this simplistic information sharing, Dr. Achmed and the panelists. And Usman Conte had said, thank you, Dr. Achmed. Bangura, you're not Bangura, I tagged the wrong person, sorry. Dr. Achmed Kamara is. Many have come in. Abubakar had said, apart from the diet, is the lack of exercise not one of the main issues that exacerbates health complications? That's a question, by the way, from Abubakar Bangura. And then Grace Amma says, this has been the best explanation of cholesterol levels that I have had. Thanks so much. Thank you very much, Grace Amma. That's wonderful. I'm glad that you're engaging. Says, well done, Dr. Achmed. Muzaddin says, thank you, Dr. Achmed, for sharing your knowledge. Waiting for another medical awareness. But again, another question says, Donald Kamara says, many thanks for hosting Dr. Achmed, but please keep the question short and straight to the point and allow Doctor more time to explain. And I think, to be honest, Donald, that's what's been the case, because I've not been talking, Ish has been talking, and he's kept things really, really short, to be fair. Opt-in Master Lloyd says, thanks for this useful, interesting session. I've learned a lot from this discussion. Can you remind me of the frequencies of Doctor to You program? As we said, Brother Opt-in, this program runs every first Monday of the month. So please engage. Dr. Achmed is always with us, God willing. And if I reach there, yes, on paid carers, Auntie Susan reinforces the point. So there's quite a lot for you to go through from the questions that we don't cancel. So let's see if you can mishmash them up.
Yeah. I'll go through them, and because I'm very mindful of the time as well. I know say people get for cut fast. We self get for cut fast. Yeah, so basically BMI is very, very important, but BMI not perfect. You know, BMI not perfect, especially with we Afro-Caribbeans. BMI not perfect. But when they design BMI, when they do the original research for BMI, now people in the Far East, I think, if I'm not wrong, probably I think that Japan, a Japanese population, they work out BMI, and of course, their body structure different from we. So you know, the most what I can always say to patients, them not become too fixated with the figure, but do a measurement, and then now what you get for follow is now the trend. Not look your BMI and say, well, oh, but my BMI too high, or in fact, my BMI normal, so therefore I go relax. But measure your BMI and then follow your trend of your BMI. The other thing that way you can use as well, and a waist and hip circumference. So your waist, you measure just above your belly button, the navel, and then your hip, now the widest part around your buttock. All right. So then get particular figures where it's supposed to be. So for women, for example, you get certain ratios and where you will work out and get calculators online where you can use, and that can be a more accurate reflection than just the BMI alone, because this is not your own body itself. So you can use that as well. Now, in terms of advice for unpaid carers, I mean, my heart goes out to all the unpaid carers. I mean, this wonderful NHS service we'll get, which now one of, if not the best healthcare service in the world. But even the NHS not able to function the way they function without the unpaid carers. And we all know that, we all get people where indirectly or directly we don't look after, family or friends. But then you get some people where this is not their own job long term. You get some picking them when are carers to them parents them, so they don't be carers them from a very, very young age. In fact, I'll not digress small. I get a very touching incident a few weeks ago where a mother, they cry because in Pekin-Wango University outside London, and this Pekin also not a main carer. Can you see how difficult it is? In one slide, Pekin go study, but it a cry at the same time because say the system, the states, even then give carers and the maximum way the states will give you 4 times a day, something they come for half an hour, 1 hour at a time. They're not able to wait in Pekin they do from, but at the same time, Pekin get for go and go, try for advancing self and further himself. So yeah, carers. If you're not a carer, one thing where I go advise you for doing in England, make let your GP know, then go register you as a carer. So if you not tell your GP say you're not a carer for somebody, they're not gonna know. So when I register you as a carer, for example, in fact, with this current COVID-19 vaccine, the group where you will fall under, they change. They become gonna hire a group just simply because you're not a carer for let you get your vaccine. But also you get certain other benefit, supports where you were able to get, not necessarily benefit, but supports where you were able to get. And if the person where they look after so wish for let you, get certain carers benefits allowance, again, speak to your GP. There's so many things and they will become unlocked for you, where they're going to show you certain pathways that will be very, very helpful for you. Together with the help of the social services and the GP, that will help you with that. Yes, Mr. Bangro, I think I mentioned exercise. Absolutely. Exercise is so important. In fact, I touch on weight, and you exercise the impact on your weight. But exercise alone, even without the weight loss, is so significant. And we know for example, people who can get borderline diabetes. Just that regular exercise, even without losing significant weight, they reduce their HbA1c back from borderline to normal. People who get high cholesterol, that regular exercise, even without necessarily losing significant weight, they lead to letting cholesterol level and calm down. And waiting at the recommended daily exercise amounts or weekly exercise amounts. Now, if you aim for 150 minutes a week, which if you break them down, is about 30 minutes a day. You know, me, I don't lie. Me, I tell myself, say, look, try to do at least 20 minutes exercise a day. Because it's easy for convince me mind for go exercise for 20 minutes than for prepare myself for go exercise for 1 hour. If once I go for 20 minutes, I enjoy it so much that I want to do half an hour, 40 minutes or however long, that's a bonus. But yeah, tell yourself, say, look, in fact, just start off, say, let's begin first for 5 minutes. In fact, if that is still difficult, just start off, say, you know what's in today? And they wear me tracksuits, and they wear me short trousers, and they wear me vest. Let's just feel like, say, I want exercise. And when you begin to do that regularly, sometimes you go begin to do, you know, walk around the block, shuffle one, because you wear the right attire. But exercise is also so important, Mr. Bangura. Thank you for reminding us about that. And yeah, DJ Little, you don't mention, you know, we do this show also every first Monday of the month. You know, thanks to the wonderful DJ Little, Diaspora Voices, for making this possible. Yeah, without you guys, the show not will go on. So, and without una question them, the show not gonna be interesting. And I'm so glad the way when I read out the question and from the audience as well, because the most important thing are the audience them. So once like one eye on question and be answered. So if I get any question them, you know, any way you don't understand, maybe I don't explain something you not too quite understand, just ask the question again, and then go make sure say we cover them. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Achmed. Thank you very much. Thank you for engaging the audience and all that. I want to move to the next topic quickly. I want you to touch on obviously we get another topic in a stroke. I just want you to tell the audience what's in a stroke and then how we can mitigate forget stroke.
Yeah, thank you so much. So a stroke, again, now a stroke, they happen because you get an interaction, you interrupt the blood flow to the brain. And the brain, now one of the tissues in the body, in fact, we're not a repair very well. So if it damage, unfortunately, if it get for repair, it can take a long time. Or most of the time, they repair back to the level where it be there at all. So you want to try to do as much as you can. We want to try to do as much as we can for avoiding things there so in the first place. Or, like question where you asked earlier, what can be recovery time? Or, because we're not here, no matter what we do, we're not always able to avoid certain things. Then. If we want to try now for avoid and then see also in the first place, and by making sure, say, we look after our blood pressure, if we get diabetes, make sure, say, with diabetes well controlled, either through with diet, through with exercise, through the medication they take, reduce with cholesterol, all that thing they go reduce the risk of stroke. But also, if you get a stroke, but increase your likelihood of making a very good recovery. So, more thing at the sign, important to know the sign. For heart attack, I mentioned saying that people can get chest pain. Not all men can get chest pain with heart attack. Some people have breathlessness. Some people can get indigestion symptoms. Some people and they get pain at the jaw. Some person they get pain at the hand. That are the only sign and symptom. What's really important for any medical condition is know your body. And now this me always tell patients, because if you begin break down individual symptoms, then it can get too confusing for the average lay person. But know your body, know it's normal, and know when something not normal, and when it's not normal, seek advice early. So let's come back to stroke. So the NHS gets a very easy way for let the public they remember waiting a stroke. It will abbreviate as FAST, F-A-S-T, right? So the F na face. So if you find out, say you get facial weakness, until if you look, you smile and mirror, all of a sudden you smile not symmetrical, not so the way how we blend today. Or you find out, say they get your sensation, the way they feel now one side of the face not feel the same, you feel numb. Or you find out, say saliva, they begin for come out now one side of your mouth, okay? Or you're not able for open your eye fully now one side. Anything where they change now your face can be a sign of potential stroke. So FNA for your face. Then you get your arms, and I mentioned earlier. So if you get weakness now your arms, and not just means in your arms, you know, then say, and for let you remember I'm easily, but if you can get weakness now your arms or your legs, it could be a potential sign of stroke. Not wait until the following day for go see your GP. Not wait until 6 hours later for see if you will get better. Seek advice straight away. If you're not sure, call NHS 111. If you're not even sure, go to A&E, go to your nearest A&E, or call 999. Then somebody will give you advice on the phone. It's not a theory for waste time about. And then the S now, your speech. So the other sign of stroke is it can affect your speech. Either your speech, they become, you know, non-existent. So you're not able to talk. You want to say some words, then they're not able to come out at all. Or you they talk, but you they slur your words and down, almost like somebody who don't drink alcohol, right? In fact, and I'll do I'm fine because you're still able to understand me, but they slur your words. So you they talk, somebody will know you well, not they are able to understand what you they say. And the easiest way sometimes for pick them up now where you they talk to somebody on the phone, because face to face, sometimes you go lip read a little bit, but on the phone you're not able to lip read, so you really know say this person in speech don't significantly affected. And waiting at the T at the time I mentioned for heart attack, you get that dot on needle time. Now the same principle now, so you know the brain is so vital, it's so important, it gets so many important functions, and you want to preserve them as much as possible. So if anything, any symptom they suggest say you they get a problem with your brain or you develop a stroke, you want to make sure so you get to hospital as soon as possible. Within 1 hour is the advice. If they get a heart attack or they get a stroke, you will get to hospital within 1 hour. You get a much better chance of recovery, of a very good recovery of your heart or your brain once treatments don't go in place. The sooner the better, but you want to try for do that at least within one hour. So this is not the thing where people say if you drive safe, you get some kind of pain when not they go away, or you notice say you face not a feel fine, or your hand don't become weak. No wait, so say 1 hour you reach now house. Try for friend outside the nearest hospital there, or you pull over and call 999. Don't worry about any tickets where you get forgets, because your life much more important than any tickets that day. Pull over for your own safety, for other people's safety, but also so that you're able to get appropriate medical advice. And the sooner you reach hospital, the better. Now, in terms of the risk factors, now the same things that we don't talk about. For heart attack, we will not need to go over again. So you modify with risk factors: smoking, exercise, cholesterol, weight, okay, and your diet. Very, very important. Will reduce the risk of a stroke or heart attack. And also controlling certain diseases, then high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol. Sometimes, no matter what you do, you'll get some kind of condition there. It's fine, but make sure say they're well controlled. Make sure say you take your medication, and make sure say you attend for your regular checkups, and so that they will be as well controlled as possible for keep you as healthy as possible and reduce the chances of you developing strokes and heart attacks in the future. So yeah, so that stroke.
Dr. Achmed.
Yes, sir.
This is going so well, and you know, like we could do this for over and over. And I really, really want to apologize to you in advance, because this is a 3-hour program, not a 1 hour 20-minute program or 1 hour 15-minute program. But I'm quite keen on squeezing in one quick question each, and before each coming, like, is how common is heart disease with amongst women population? And when you talk about stroke, heart attack, waiting at the age where we for look for, where now the age of concern, so to speak, amongst men, women. But first of all, how quick heart disease is common among the women population, the female population, and then waiting at the age, when at the alert age, where we for begin to concern that stroke may be prevalent to you as a man or as a woman, or is there no barrier?
Very good question. I'll answer very quickly. So, like I say, strokes and heart attacks are much more common amongst men. In men, approximately 7.5 to 8% of the population, they develop cardiovascular disease, strokes, and heart attacks. In women, it not been said enough common, about 6%, 6.2% of the population they develop cardiovascular diseases. In terms of the age, well, look after yourself at whatever age, but with all them diseases there are, so strokes and heart attacks, the older we get, the higher the risk, because high blood pressure increases with age. We don't, whatever we level of cholesterol. So if you're very young and get high cholesterol, you can get away with them. But over time, it clog up your blood vessels. So as you get older as well, the risk increases. So I don't want to say, well, this particular age, because when you begin sedenting and the way you day below a certain age, you can almost feel, well, oh, I'm okay because I'm less than 40, or I'm okay because I'm less than 60. Just look after yourself at whatever age you day. But just know this number, say, the older you get, the higher the risk of these things. But look after yourself at whatever age. I don't see heart attacks in 18-year-olds, heart attacks in people in their 20s, strokes in people in their 30s, in their 20s, in their teens, in their 80s, etc. So it happens across any age, but it's much more common the older you get. So just look after yourself, live healthily, eat healthily, exercise, and keep a healthy body weight, whatever you age.
Thank you, Dr. Achmed. Thank you. Why, Dr. Achmed, I just want to let you just throw light on this one very quick. This is going to be our last topic, the blood pressure, waiting at blood pressure, because normally people when they talk about, oh, my blood pressure, this, my blood pressure, that, and all that stuff. So waiting actually at the blood pressure.
I'm glad you mentioned that. So blood pressure, now the pressure within your blood vessels, and particularly within your arteries. So the blood pressure we can refer to as the pressure within your arteries. So where your heart, they pump, your left ventricle, they beat. With each beat, they push blood out into your main arteries, and where they send them all around your body, to your brain, even back to your heart, and then to the rest of the body. So the pressure within your artery, now your blood pressure, and over years and years and years, we know it's in a normal blood pressure. So anything less than 140/90. So if you get your own machine, and I recommend, if anybody where they watch this program, get your own blood pressure machine now us. Not so for they check them every single day, but at least once in a while, at least once a year. If your blood pressure plumb normal, completely normal, 180/120/80, your blood pressure completely normal, then at least check them once a year as a minimum. The guideline at the UK is everybody will at least get their blood pressure checked once every 5 years. Personally, I think say 5 years too long for wait, because a lot can happen within that time. So get your machine. Now, if your blood pressure weight check and you're abnormal, you seek advice. So if you do anything above 140, that are your top reading, systolic, over 90, your bottom reading, diastolic, then seek advice. It not necessarily means that you get high blood pressure, but it could be an indication for say you get high blood pressure. And by seeking advice, you will get further tests done, or then we'll use more, let's say, more calibrated machine them, or other things in there where we can advise the patient and do, for example, something called home blood pressure monitoring or 24-hour blood pressure monitoring for actually confirm, say, you get high blood pressure. Now, people can say, well, me blood pressure not high, because why? I know me head not the heart. Because a lot of people, and they equate high blood pressure with heart, even the one that we already get existing hypertension or high blood pressure. Now, sadly, the vast majority of people then, they get any symptom. You can see some man in a waka with a systolic blood pressure of over 200, no nothing. They get no headache, no chest pain. Sometimes, sadly, one day it go just for the normal something happen. And high blood pressure uncontrolled, they lead to heart attacks, strokes, kidney disease. Sadly, we get a lot of patients and where they're on dialysis. The first time where they know about them blood pressure, now because they go do a random blood test, which shows that their kidney function don't really deteriorate, sadly, and then check them blood pressure and find out that their blood pressure sky high. So that our blood pressure, very important. Your blood pressure can be high, you don't get any symptom at all. The only way where you gonna say you get high blood pressure now if you check them.
Right, Dr. Achmed, under this blood pressure, we actually get a category of blood pressure. We get different kind of categories. Because like we get low, optimal, normal, high, then stage 1, 2, and 3.
So, yes. Yeah, no, good question. I mean, so one thing where we know is the lower your blood pressure, the better it is. So even though I say 140/90 is okay, but me go be much happier if your blood pressure they around 120 systolic, that are the top reading, and your bottom reading they 80 or less. Okay. Now, as you get older, and this at the top now, patients and where they're over the age of 70, 80, by then and then you at-risk them, then you don't get a lot of calcium buildup. So we can accept higher blood pressure readings in them patients because it not necessarily means say the higher reading now because they get very, very high blood pressure, not just a reflection of the calcium in the blood vessels. So you want that the lower the better. 120/80 is much better. But of course, some people sometimes it can be a bit too low. I mean, if you top reading, they drop below 100. That's too low because you need enough pressure to let the blood reach your brain. If you don't get enough pressure to let the blood reach your brain, then that's a problem as well. You'll become dizzy, you go faint, you get blackout, and sometimes even you go little, symptoms of stroke. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Achmed. Like what Cindy Jelly to say, we'll go there all day because this is not an hour, 15-minute topic because the audience and enjoy the show so much that we therefore bring you another day for explain this into details, topic after topic, because tonight we actually do justice, but because of time in the Ramadan, so please, audience, with the appeal to now, we not get enough time. So Dr. Achmed will come back another time. We will actually program this, probably a left of Dr. Achmed, if actually go bring this program back into next month. I mean, it will make we know that we will make know. So DJ Little, I don't know if you get one or two things so you want to say before.
I totally agree with you, DJ Ish. With the appeal, and we'll ask Dr. Achmed kindly, would you like to revisit the cardiovascular topic? And this time, we don't look at all around the 4 areas. So we can look at a couple of the areas then where we go delving in depth and allowing we audience then also audience participation. If you not go mind for let we repeat that day, or we can bring that day along the line sometime towards the end of the year. But I want to say thank you, and to we audience them, thank you so much for engaging. And we really, really sorry, as we all know, because of the Ramadan, I mean, we bring the program forward an hour early, so we all go cut fast, and Una said go cut fast, and then hopefully we go return. But next month it will change because we will have back the normal time. So thank you, Dr. Achmed. Thank you, DJ Ish, and over to Dr. Achmed with the last word.
Well, quick one, Dr. Achmed. Just before, I just want to round them up because this 4 topic, the blood pressure, the cholesterol, the stroke, and then the heart attack, how and cardiovascular, how they all link. I just want you just in a nutshell for the people that actually understand them.
So yeah, so if you get heart attack and stroke at the top, now you want them, now the big things and then they will try to avoid, okay? Then you can look high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol as causes of heart attacks and strokes. Then you go back further, you say, well, what are the causes of the causes? So then we diet, we exercise level, we weight, and the food the food where they eat, whether we smoke or not, whether we drink. We'll not talk about alcohol today, but whether they drink excessive amounts of alcohol. This are the things that they lead to then causes and they diabetes, high cholesterol, hypertension, and then now they lead to strokes and heart attacks. So they interlink. They're all interlink. So they're also important where you get one, not say, well, okay, I get now this number I get, look after yourself well. We all need a warning shot. So when something happens, just take your time, look after yourself well, and use it as an opportunity for get healthier.
Thank you very much, Dr. Achmed. And I will quickly you get the last word to people there, because back of you, we see doctor to you. I just want you, just because we need for the remind people and waiting at the meaning of that. Then I'll allow you for let's say the last word as well. So people before round up.
No, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, look, I'll make it really quick. You know, I hope so when I really enjoy the discussion today. I'm not always get it right. But you know, this not like how they talk to us, so make you like for explain things to the patient them. And you know, pitch them at different level because you want to make sure say the most important thing with somebody a patient can see, you want to make sure say they left with full understanding and know exactly why you give them the advice the way they give them. If in a prescription, you know exactly why. So I hope so when I enjoy the discussion and when I get a lot to want to take away from them. Yes, I will be very, very happy for come back and discuss any one panel topic they also at a future show. It will be my pleasure. I like for Sam. And that's what Doctor to You is all about, you know, getting the doctor out to you. As I say, you can book a consultation with me online. We will talk, you know, privately, me and you on a video consultation. You know, we go through anything where you want to discuss, and then I give you my expert advice on any kind of problem where you come with.
So if
thank you, DJ
Ish, before you go, I just want to ask Dr. Achmed, you think you're going to get away with it? You're not going to get away with it. How is it going so far? And my recommendation, they work very well. A lot of people, them way to, you understand, I have to thank all the people that way I don't ask, we don't purchase the book through my recommendation. I want to publicly thank them. But also I want to tell you, thank you for actually educating and empowering many of us and inspiring many of us. And me not slow reader, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm still taking my time, but because I want to digest what I read, that make it take me time for read this. So thank you. Success against all odds with Dr. Achmed. It is out here now, people them on Amazon. Yeah. Please get your own copy. DJ is next month. If you know SU book, if I conquer you aid.
Listen, it on the post. It on the post is coming. Okay. Don't worry. I don't say go count that.
I must count that. So thank you to all the one that we don't buy and so far. I'm not gonna call on names, but una know yourself. We don't purchase them through me or recommendation. But I want to say thank you, Dr. Achmed. Fascinating read, and I'm not regretting it. Well done. How's the sales going so far?
Well, look, it's going well. I mean, I think more importantly, you know, the feedback from waiting people and they get, because for write a book way so personal like this, you get for left all your anxieties at the door, and then share yourself, share your highs and lows, and that can be very, very, very difficult, very difficult. But you know, I'm glad we are doing, you know, try for intertwine the things and why intertwine the success principles and you know, I hope say people will get one or two things out of that. Because that's the whole aim. The whole aim now for just help people and for just unlock you know, their potential for go to the next level where they deserve for go to. And we all get a next level within we. And the next level, and the next level, and we just need a little bit of encouragement no more for take that next step. And I hope saying that this book will do. And then you will read about me as well. It will be like a conversation with me as well. You know, see about me life, the things I'm way, and I can talk about. If you want to find out all the nitty gritty them about me from why be salon, so I can also all things inside and that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Achmed. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. We hope to get you back next month. But listeners, viewers, Dr. Achmed, they are going to call, as soon as see Doctor to You. When I go on the YouTube page and in Facebook page, if you want to reach him, it's easy for reach. So it will come to your doorstep. If you need an advice or anything, just reach out to them. I want to thank me able engineer, DJ Little, aka the Moses, and I want to thank the viewers them. And again, before we go, I want to say a big thank you to Arik Vazi for the sponsor tonight. Thank you, Arik Vazi. As soon as see this, not the sponsor tonight. Thank you very much. So I want to thank the viewers them. Thank you very much. So they're going to go cut fast. DJ Little, aka the Moses, Dr. Achmed. Thank you very much. We hope for us to again. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Don't forget, people, make sure you like, you share.
Yeah.
Great. Please, Dr. Achmed, thank you. Go follow Doctor to You all the time. God bless you. Good night. We'll catch up with you guys.
Take care.
Well done, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're off here now. Thank you, Dr. Achmed.
Dr. Achmed, thank you very much.
Great show.
Yes.
Apologies.
Well, I think the time not bad, you know, the time not bad.
Yeah. No, the time.
We'll try.
The time. If you DJ to not be talk too much for Dr. Achmed, you don't say to make